Pod Paste.
Ever thought of your brand as having multiple personalities? In this episode, we'll break down the concept of brand personas and show you how to tie them into a compelling company narrative. Get ready to see your brand in a whole new light on this episode of Content on the Go. Hey everyone, I'm Darren Lake and welcome to Content on the Go, a podcast by Podpaste. Each episode, we answer questions or talk about one specific idea to help you market your business or brand better. And we do that by making them easy to digest, short and concise, because we all have a business to run. Let's go. What you'll learn on this episode with our guest, Chris Koo, what exactly a brand persona is and why it's crucial for your business, the 4 key brand personalities, and how to appeal to your audience, how to tie brand activation to a compelling company, a very wide story on that, and more. With over 20 years of bilingual content and communications experience, Chris excels in creating and managing impactful content across various platforms. At the time of this publication, Chris is the global content marketing lead at Byte Plus, who is known for apps like TikTok, Pico, CapCut, and Lemon 8. So what exactly is a brand persona in the context of branding?
I think it all starts with the brand promise and the brand purpose. Who are you as a brand? As a person, who are you? And, what's the problem you're trying to solve for that, overarching mission as a business? I think every business is trying to solve a customer's problem. So you have to go back to that and you will have your brand personality as a bedrock supporting all of the above.
As far as brand personas go in branding, I'm definitely new to this space. I'd say within the probably last year and a half, I've started thinking about what's my brand persona, like who am I? How do I operate in this world? And as a musician back, 15 years ago, I didn't really think about that. And it was something that I think was what hindered my progress and my success, which is relative to everyone. But I didn't get to where I wanted to as a musician because my music and my brand, I didn't really have like this identity. Yeah. So this is something that I think it takes time. You're not going to just come up with it immediately. You could either lead with your product or you could lead with you as a person or your company. There's a lot of different ways, or your first clients, so your first customers, etc. So let's just get straight to the next part, the 4 brand personalities. Can you go over those?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, even appealing to your music fans, and there will be typically a few personalities that you want to appeal to, like the 18 to 25s and, the middle class, the family guy, or the old folks. And typically for an FMCG brand or, lots of brands that are trying to activate their campaigns and, they're selling something to particularly any of these age groups. And, you have these 3 or 4 types of personalities. But how do you appeal to your audience that is indeed your brand personality? So that means under every single persona, whether you're appealing to the Gen Zers, to the family man, or to the old folks, you are supposed to be telling them a story. And, the different stories would be tied together. You are trying to communicate a certain message, and the persona getting the message would go, oh, so you're such and such a person. And you're not just selling something that's very tactical or transactional to me, but you're telling me who you are as a person. And that's how you get away with this brand appeal, which comes with all the brand activation. It's not just some kind of playbook that you're trying to execute from. It's really telling a story about who you are to all the different groups. And when they come together and talk about you, they are actually talking about the same person, but then the execution of the message is different.
Yeah, you talked about that in actually a meeting that we had a few weeks ago about messaging. And that's something that I've actually, again, it's one of those things where, if I really wasn't like thinking and putting my marketer hat on and running things through this filter of marketing, I wouldn't actually think in this way. But one type of ad or piece of content, whether it's organic, I'm just trying to, do awareness, it's an awareness type of piece of content, or I'm trying to actually do a CTA, it requires a specific message. And as much as I want to, promote 3 different things and or promote to 3 different people, you can't, because 3 seconds, you got 3 seconds. So yes. you need to appeal to one type of brand persona. You need to tell them about one thing of your product, and, maybe down the user journey, maybe if they listen to a 45-minute podcast, you can try 2 things. Yeah. But even then, a lot of people, including myself, a lot of small businesses and businesses that just don't get the game of marketing, they try to shove in too much. It's either too much information, too many points about the product or service, or too many brand personas they're trying to talk to. And then it's just this muddled, average, really like blah message that kind of doesn't really talk to anyone at the end of the day. Would you agree?
Yeah, so having that real brand purpose is very important to create these personas that you're trying to target. And I think in turn, how the content and your messaging and everything will work together, because when the story is appealing and is very focused, people will start searching for your brand name or the branded keywords in a more meaningful way. And that's going to help a lot in your SEO and not be competing with other people for the same space, but you're really trying to focus on addressing what their needs are, what kinds of solutions they are looking for, and using a story to wrap it around and, tying all the way back to your brand purpose. So there is nothing fluffy about that. When people say that branding is so fluffy, how do you even measure that? How do you come up with a strategy? Why do you want to do something like that? We just go with the fonts and, go with the colors, and that's just it. Do the playbook thing, but this is not it. So just tying it all the way back to the brand purpose, focusing on the personas that you're trying to target, and that will help your SEO very much.
All right, let's go to the third and last point, which is tying your brand activation to a real company story. First off, as I am a somewhat new marketer in this more traditional marketing space, I did a lot of guerrilla hacky marketing over the last 10, 15 years and working with Metagy. And just even before Metagy, I've become a better marketer, kind of more refined marketer, I guess. What is exactly a brand activation to some people that either haven't had the budget, haven't had the experience? Define a brand activation, and then, talk about how you tie it to a company story.
Well, I think activations, like the campaigns, can be big, can be small. And if you don't really have a big budget, there is still something that you want to focus on, right? Like there is this grand brand purpose, and below the grand brand purpose, and you will have to cascade down to something that you want to focus on maybe every quarter, maybe the first half of the year, and, really trying to find out how this big grand brand purpose is going to help a certain unique group of people that you are trying to help, like the personas that we have talked about. And it doesn't need to be like a huge campaign. It could be something small. I mean, even the execution, maybe say you're going to write 10 blocks, for example, to actually address, this part of the brand purpose that you're trying to serve your audience. Or you want to do 10 podcasts, or that you want to come up with a really big story for the first half of the year, and you have this big TVC, but everything will have to tie it back to this brand purpose and, the sub-content buckets that you want to create and address the problems that the personas are facing.
From Podpaste, you've listened to Content on the Go. Again, I'm Darren, and Podpaste hopes you found more insights and tips into your business or brand. If you've liked what you heard, please share a link with other businesses or marketers if you think they would get something from this. And for a limited time, we are offering 2 special services for people. The first is aimed at businesses that have never done podcasting and want to try it out before committing to a full series. Think Try Before You Buy, where we will edit and repurpose a podcast episode into 10 pieces of content for you for only $95. That's 82% off our normal rate. But if you already have a podcast going, we'd love to edit an episode for free for you or repurpose it into 10 pieces of content to show you what is possible. Either way, sign up at the link in the show notes or YouTube description below to jump on a quick 10-minute discovery call where we can brainstorm ideas or audit your existing podcast and help shape your next series. See you on the next episode.